Welcome to the Wake Up Call Network. I'm your host, David M. Frankel, and you're tuned in to the Perky Collar TV show. And my guest today, via telephone, is Nicole, and her company is What Your Secret Sauce Technologies. And she's going to talk today about her company as well as her new product called Brand Disco. Nicole, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, welcome, Nicole. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
This young lady is on the world tour, and I was so blessed this morning to be at a Charlotte Business Group meeting, and in walks Nicole and her entourage and her PowerPoint slides and all these eager to learn students and people that want to learn from her. And I just couldn't help but stay an extra 2 hours and learn from her directly today. So it was a real gift and a real blessing to not just talk to her and get to know her over the last couple of years, but to see this girl in action. So we'll first start off with Nicole. Tell us your why. Why did you get into your secret sauce as a company, and tell us a little bit about Brand Disco, how it works and how you're helping people.
Yeah. So the company name is What's Your Secret Sauce? Like, what is your secret sauce? But it's What Your Secret Sauce. And really, it's about going deeper than the surface. There seems to be this society kind of driven, stereotypical thing where people like to put people in boxes. So, like, if you work in a corporate career, you are an account manager, and your role is just this, and this. People don't want you to operate out of that box. Or you are a project manager, or, a CNA, or whatever you are. There seems to be some kind of, impending association with those titles. And when you sort of act outside of those titles, you're perceived as either being defiant, disobedient. And so for me, I was in corporate America for 19 years. And I always, my approach to success, I had a very successful corporate America career in the banking technology world. But I always found myself mentoring people and helping people and saying, hey, do it your way. Me just really encouraging people to live outside of that inbox. As long as you still met the goal, be different, dare to be seen. And after a while, I started to realize that I was going to be better served becoming an independent consultant, starting my own business, because I just couldn't flourish like I needed to kind of in the box. So I kind of needed to take a dose of my own medicine and step outside of my own comfort zone and inbox. And through doing so, David, I ended up realizing that I actually had a secret sauce. So where it all stems from is me becoming an independent consultant, an independent business owner back in 2015, and saying, I'm going to be a business coach. I'm going to develop new businesses nationwide, but I'm not going to do it like anybody else. I'm going to do it Nicole's way, which is both creative and artsy, as well as very structured and disciplined. And if I get those two things together, it will create a secret sauce. And through me finding my own, I started to help other people identify theirs.
And Nicole, help me understand, how did you feel when you're in the corporate environment and you had to play one role, even though you're way more talented than that one role allowed you to be? What was the feeling that went through your body every single day?
Oh my gosh. It was, you know what? I tell people my desire to be an entrepreneur, to live life, just very colorfully, probably made me not a great employee. I know, don't tell anybody. But I was...
No one's going to know. It'll be our secret, Nicole. Wink, wink to the camera.
Listen, imagine that, right? Just imagine. No, but I just was really colorful. I would come to the boardroom, and let me tell you what, my career was very high level. So I had a role where I had to interface with regulatory compliance departments for major banks. So when people came from D.C. and New York, the Fed, that was me. That was my role, keeping the bank open and safe and sound. So imagine somebody who's very creative and artsy, who would come in the boardroom and say, we should do it like this, and indigo blue presentations. And they were like, okay, Dawn, I need the content and I need the brains that you have, but I need you to turn down your creative ability. Just be this way. And so it was very difficult for me, and that's what really drove me out. And I said, you know what, I can do more if I get out of this. And that's kind of where it all stemmed.
I think the song Turn It Down for What came from you, didn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. That should be your theme song. It really should be.
Yeah.
And to surprise you, Don Nicole, we have your former employer on the line, and they're going to give us a true testimony of what it's like to really have you as an employee. Are you on the phone? I'm just kidding. There's really no employee on the phone. We just want to put our feet to the fire a little bit. But that's, I mean, I think that's how most entrepreneurs feel, is that, you know what, I'm not a great employee. I can't stay in the box. I can't just do the one thing you want me to do. I have so much more to offer, and you're driving me crazy. You're smothering me with the control and the lack of freedom and my lack of ability to give in other ways. But because everything's departmentalized in corporate America, you have to play one role, because then you start crossing over and people feel threatened.
Yeah.
They feel threatened that you're doing their job too. When you're an entrepreneur, you're encouraged to do more jobs. You know, if you can't do more than one job, you can't be an entrepreneur. So it's the total opposite of corporate America.
Oh man, totally. And wait, I gotta tell you this, because you guys are gonna think this is so funny. So let me tell you, now companies hire me to empower and talk to their employees. The risk of that is that while the company is my client, those employees walk away feeling like, yes, I'm going to be a business owner. And I'm like, oh crap. Independent.
Yes.
It's like Don Nicole, there's a problem with your last seminar. 12 people quit, and now they have their own businesses.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's almost like you gave them the freedom to think for themselves, and you set them free. They're all like little birds. You just kind of lift them up and throw up in the air, and they flew, and they didn't turn back, and the company's like, what the heck just happened? You know, they just kind of shake their head, and they don't know what happened. And they let you in the door to make it happen. So it's great to know that you're helping them, but at the same time, the corporate office is probably figuring out how can we keep the little birds productive and make them, you know, cross over with the skill sets, but at the same time not want to leave. And we had the same discussion yesterday. I interviewed a gentleman that had a home improvement company, and I said, how do you, as a home improvement company, with all these different skilled laborers, how do you train them to do specific skills so well that they don't go off on their own the minute they're great at something, and they get a taste of that dollars and cents of, hey, I'm only making a percentage of the total dollar bill for this job. And he said it's one of the toughest things he goes through. So I'm sure in corporate America it's the same thing. When you get to be very good at a specific task and you have more to offer, it's so hard not to go out and do your own business. How does a corporation keep those people happy and motivated to do the one thing they ask them to do? And it's got to be tough to keep those guys motivated and excited and salivating every morning to come in and do the job, knowing they could do so much more. Do you ever find yourself being asked to do presentations for companies to get them to stay and not leave and not be freedom thinkers, but to be able to take on more roles for the same pay? I mean, there's definitely some corporate mindsets like that, I assume.
Yeah, definitely. Well, absolutely. And what that is called, I tell people that's the idea of personal branding, but personal branding within a corporate brand. So that's me saying, hey, you know, don't overthrow your managers, okay? You know, be empowered, but understand how to utilize that empowerment to drive the mission of this company, the one that you work for. So yeah, even though there's a sense of independent thinking, it's all about independence that can be used collaboratively to drive the company's mission. And I have to be very careful and clear with that messaging. I have to really set the expectation at the onset when I come in that says, listen, today is about making you the best within this organization. And I'm going to empower you so that even though you're in this organization, you really drive it, you know, utilizing your best skills, contributing it, you know, to this organization. So yeah, I do that a lot.
So Don Nicole, I have to ask you, are millennials a different creature? Like, I would think a lot of millennials feel, I don't need to be in corporate America. I'm 20 years old. I know everything. I want to be my own boss. But is there value in those millennials working for a corporation like we did, 10, 15, 20 years, learn the ropes, learn to wear as many hats as possible, and then go out on their own instead of trying to be an entrepreneur right out of the gate? Or is there value in trying to be an entrepreneur right out of the gate and learn by trial and error?
Well, you know, that's a great question. This is the thing. I found that millennials are more likely to just jump out and do it. Like there are a handful of millennials that they would see it no other way. For example, I can give you an example with my own children who are now like young adults and some of their older friends. They have a mindset of, yes, I'm going to open up a shop or I'm going to have my own store, or I'm going to manage. I'll give you an example. My son, his friend over the summer had his own lawn care business. And every day I'm like, are you kidding me? Your friend comes to pick you up and you guys have clients? And now this is my 16-year-old, which is, I think, a little bit out of the millennial. It's kind of right underneath the millennials. But my point is their mindset is becoming more and more independent at an earlier age. And so for them, it's nothing for them to round up a group of friends to start talking about selling sneakers online or tennis shoes or selling basketball caps or working in their own businesses. And it's mind-boggling because to us, our generation, we weren't necessarily exposed to those options as a plan A. It was kind of, the rebels. A few of us said, hey, plan A, it didn't work, so now on to plan B or C. As opposed to the younger generation is now looking at that a lot earlier than we did.
I think it's the people that couldn't keep a job, the ones that got businesses.
Exactly, yeah.
So let me go back to the question. Do you feel millennials are better off learning by making mistakes and being an entrepreneur from day one? Or do you think they're better off having 5, 10, 15 years experience in corporate America first and then become an entrepreneur?
No, they're definitely better off making mistakes. And I know that sounds really crazy, but this is a very, let me do it, see me as an individual, I want to try it, even though I hear you, mom and dad, or I hear you, older mentor person, I'm going to still do it my way. And so I see, and this is why there's a ton more reality shows and documentaries out there of startup tech companies, and you see they're the younger generation taking these risks. They want to learn at the grassroots level, good, bad, or ugly. And so I think at this point it's more beneficial to let them do it and figure it out that way than it is for them to get 10 years. And see, here's the thing. If you have that entrepreneurial spirit in you anyway, you're not going to last 10 years at somebody's job. You're going to find out very, very quickly after 1 year or 2 years, like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Right.
So you might as well just start there.
That makes sense. I think the only avenue I could see it being beneficial is if you're going to make a financial mistake, let it be someone else's dime, not your own. But beyond that, I think you're exactly right. And I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to, if you're a true entrepreneur, you're not going to be happy working for someone else anyway. So why be miserable?
Right.
Might as well go ahead and learn from your mistakes, surround yourself with other talented people that can work hard and are dependable, and just be careful of the money you're spending because it's your own money. We're likely to be a lot less careful. But I think there is some value, especially as a parent of teenagers myself and a 21-year-old. I think the whole process is elementary school, middle school, high school, college, get a job for someone. And I think that's changing. But I think the process is you just go work. The college system is it gets you ready for a job.
Right.
And I think sometimes you follow that for a couple of years, realize it's not your thing, and then start your business. But I'd be interested to see how many more people just go right from, I have my degree, now let's go apply it to a company. And I'm going to create a company with my college roommates or college friends, and let's make this thing happen. But I'm interested to see how it continues to evolve and change, and to see where mistakes are made, and if companies are having a hard time finding people because everyone's an entrepreneur. But I think we should also discuss what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I think that's what makes this show unique. Is it's hard work. You're wearing lots of hats. It's not clock in, clock out. You stop thinking about the job when you clock out at 5 o'clock. You're still thinking about the job at 10 o'clock at night, at 6 o'clock in the morning. And if you don't get the job done, the only person you have to report to is yourself. And you could be harder on yourself than anybody else could be on you. If it's a family business, you got to worry about what your parents say to you or your family has to say to you. They're the one holding you accountable. And if you don't perform for them, then you got to get a job with someone else that's not your family, that's going to hold your feet to the fire even more so. So any dialogue around that concept of, what it's like to be an entrepreneur? Maybe share with us a success story of someone that took the brand disco and has had great experience as a result. And maybe give us an example of someone that didn't follow the great laid out plan that you gave to them and is still struggling and wishing they would have listened closer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's funny because something you said a minute ago I wanted to chime in on. I wanted to say I do agree with you really quickly, just going back, when you talked about the younger generation, like you kind of want to get your footing in having a job early, and then I do agree with that, because even my teenagers, and they worked at ages 16, 17, and 18 just to get that real experience so that they could make an informed decision. And then I had some that said, okay, I'm going to keep working, and I had another one that says, yeah, okay, I want to be my own boss. So I do agree with you there. Now, on to your other question about, what does it really take to be an entrepreneur? The first thing it takes is resiliency. You have to be resilient. Meaning, even for me, I thought I was extremely arrogant when I came out of corporate America. Can you imagine, David, me arrogant?
Not at all. That's shocking, actually. I'm going to fall out of my chair. This is a high chair, too. You don't want to fall.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing. When I came out of corporate America, because I was making just a ton of, I was already at a high six-figure role. I was just very well to do. My attitude, I was in for a rude awakening, and I wrote a book about it, by the way. But my point is that I thought it was going to be easy, and I thought, oh, this is easy. I'll eat this for breakfast, right? I have these skills. I have a project management background. I have these certifications and methodology. Being a business owner is simple. Well, my first mistake was thinking that the language was going to translate, meaning thinking that just because you were good in corporate performing for somebody else's kind of role or company doesn't necessarily mean you can speak the language the same way over here.
Right.
So my first problem is I was really approaching clients from a very corporate aspect, and it wasn't getting me anywhere. It was horrible. Because, see, in corporate, you're glorified the more complex, that if you can really show off your intellectual ability and how intelligent you are, those things you're praised for. So the higher your IQ, the better, right? More people want you. They appeal to you. They want to work with you on the team. However, that doesn't work so well when you are pursuing clients and you come off like the smartest scholar, and you can't keep your messaging simple.
Right.
And so for me, I would engage these clients and talk to them, but I came off really very holier than thou and high and mighty, as if, of course you need me, very smart. And that didn't work for me. And then when I humbled myself, because I thought I was being humble, then I wasn't simple enough. I wasn't clearly stating what it was I did, and I didn't know how to be simple. And that was very hard for me. So first of all, yes, there are going to be some challenges. There are going to be some mindset shifts. But the thing is, here's what's really crazy, David. I looked at my LinkedIn account the other day, and I realized that I've been an entrepreneur longer than any career role I've ever had. So now I've been an entrepreneur almost for 3 years. I've never had a career role for 3 years straight. I had some really great jobs, but my average time on a job was about a year and a half. Then I'd get bored and go to the competitor or a bigger company. So that tells you something right there.
Sure.
My point is, it takes being resilient. It takes understanding that if you fall down, you got to get right back up. I don't mean get back up in 30 days. And I don't mean get back up in 2 months. I mean, if I fall down on Monday, I'm going at it again on Tuesday with a different approach.
Why wait until Tuesday?
And something, yeah.
Don't wait till Tuesday. You got 10 minutes. Get up, Don.
Yeah, get up now, 30 seconds. Yeah.
Right.
But, and then to wrap up, David, because you asked me about the coaching, kind of a success story and then something that wasn't so successful. A recent success story was Brand Disco. So really quick, how Brand Disco works. It's short for Brand Discovery.
Okay.
And the website is www.getbrandisco.com. And
say it one more time for us. Say it one more time for us just to make sure everyone that's watching and listening can jot that down.
Yep, it's www.getbrandisco.com. So it's brand and then disco. So there are 2 D's, getbrandisco.com.
Okay.
So how it works is real simple. Brand Disco has primarily 2 functions. One function is free. That means right now, anyone, anywhere in the world who just needs to feel empowered or they need to go meet with a client and they have no idea how to sell their services, they could go to brandisco.com and get an instant value proposition that they could literally put in their pocket and use that to increase the offering, whatever it is they want, okay? The other piece of it is there's a deluxe report that I give you as a coach that breaks down all of these things. And so a quick success story is there was a client out of Africa who took Brandisco and she wanted to move to the next level. The free version was good, but she wanted deeper details because if I could help her with her branding messaging, then she was getting ready to launch her business. And she needed to do this in 2 days. So my point is that she took Brandisco on day one. The very next day, she and I had a consultation, me here in Charlotte, she there in Africa. It went swimmingly well. In 30 minutes, she had all of her marketing messaging, thanks to Brandisco. I got paid very well, and she was off to a successful launch. And today, she's doing very successfully, and she's attracting bigger business globally, right? So that's a success story. Here is a story that's not successful. The person who takes Brandisco and only stops at the instant value proposition, but you know that your business is in trouble, so you don't know how to implement. Basically, you need the deeper report, but you don't get the deeper report because you're just trying to get it for free. And so if you don't know what to do with it, it's very limiting. It just gives you just enough to kind of be an appetizer, but not enough to fill you up. So there are people who try to run their business just based on that little nugget alone, and that's not recommended. So.
Makes sense. Well, that's excellent. Well, I appreciate you sharing your business with us. Again, I have Dawn Nicole on the phone today, helping us understand what your secret sauce technology is. That's her company, and her new product is called Brandisco, and helping a lot of you listeners and people that are watching take your brand to the next level, because branding is one of the hardest things. I mean, you look around the stores and you see major global brands, and there's not a lot of new major brands coming to the market. So to help your brand be successful, you have to utilize some of these Dawn Nicole tools to help your business grow and have a chance to have a national brand, even dance with these other major brands that are out there. So Dawn Nicole has a whole arsenal of seminars and speeches that she does all across the country to help small business owners increase their brand awareness and overall understand what their secret sauce is. Because all of us have that secret weapon, that secret thing that makes us unique and different. As we discussed in the episode today, when you're working in corporate America, you have that box. And sometimes you need to break out that box for a bigger box or a newer box or a taller box. But ultimately, as an entrepreneur, you tear the walls down of the box and you go make your own box, a much bigger box that you have room to play in and do more things. So the message today is, if you are an entrepreneur, look for people around you that can help you make your box bigger. Break out of the box. If you're happy in corporate America, that's fine. Just do the best you can in the box you're provided until you get bored with that box and then move on. And I want to thank my special guest today, Dawn Nicole, for being on the show today via phone. Again, if she wasn't traveling in so crazy schedule, we could have had her here in person. Maybe next time when we do a follow-up call after Brandisco has some more experience and more success stories to share and so on and so forth. So I want to thank you so much for being on the call today, Dawn Nicole. Any parting words, anything else you want to share with the audience?
No, I want to thank you, David. You've been very, just pivotal in my career as far as an entrepreneur. We've been networking together for a while. So just thank you for all that you do in our community to serve. And I'm looking forward to connecting with your listeners. Excellent.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate not using me as the example of a non-successful user of my secret sauce. So I appreciate that as well. So next time we connect, we're gonna walk through my profile and talk about how I can make my company better as a result of your services. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And you're listening.
Awesome. Cool.
And all of you are listening and watching the Wake Up Call Network. I'm your host, David M. Frankel. This is the Perky Collar TV show, and we'll see you after the break. Take a couple minutes to talk about my business and some of the things that I'm doing. Give you a reason to tune in each week. So I'm an inventor. Everyone's like to say they've met an inventor. It's nothing special. I just decided to solve a problem and create a solution instead of complaining about the problem. So I created a product called the Perky Collar. It is a collar support system for dress shirts. The packaging is right here. And what the product does, it lifts the collar up, so if I'm not wearing a tie, I can maintain a high collar professional look. So what it looks like is this. It has a nice magnetic lid for the box, so you can store accessories in here, and this is what the tool looks like. Nothing fancy, but it does a great job of lifting the collar up so it doesn't droop and sag. Let me show you how it works. So this is how you want your shirt to look if you're not wearing a tie. but you can see as soon as I remove the collar support, how quickly the placket starts to fold, the collar starts to tuck under. It just looks sloppy. And if I went to any downtown of any city across the country, 90% of the men are walking out like this unless they have ties on. And the tie is almost dead. So because it's dead, I decided to come up with a product that can help people not wear a tie, but not look sloppy at the same time. So here's how it works. Lift the collar up. You want to leave your collar stays in because collar stays prevent collars from curling. That's a different problem. Take the Perky collar, drop it down, and then put the collar down on top of it. And that's it. And now you're back to a nice high collar professional look. Sometimes you adjust this a little bit to make sure it's even. And there goes the folded placket. There goes the tucking under my blazer. And it's back to a nice, clean, crisp look. Now where can you find the Perky collar? I'm sure that's the question you're about to ask. Let me answer that question for you. It's perkyllc.com, spelled PERKYLLC.com. So this product's been on the market for about 2.5 years. We've now sold 10,020 as of today. I'm looking forward to our next 10,000 sold. To complement the Perky collar, I've also reached out to other inventors all across the country to complement the Perky collar. And I met a gentleman out of St. Louis, Missouri named Cedric Cobb, and he invented what's called the Best Pocket Square Holder. So he sells a Perky collar on his websites and shows. I sell his pocket square holder on my website. And that way people looking for innovation can find innovation on his website along with innovation on my website. So his product looks like this. It's called the Best Pocket Square Holder. And here's what it does. It solves the problem of the droopy, saggy pocket squares. So pocket squares, when you fold them, they always unfold and always fall down your jacket pocket. So this device looks like this. You simply squeeze the device, drop the folded pocket square or pocket round in the device. It locks it in place. And then because the height of the pocket square holder, it just drops right into the pocket, keeping it perfectly looking great and not having to mess with it over and over again throughout the day. And that's the pocket square holder. Both items sell for $25 on the website. Again, you're talking $50 total for both items, but they make a world of difference. If you haven't bought holiday gifts yet for the men in your life that just are hard to buy for, these are two great innovative products that I'm sure they would truly enjoy. I'm not finished yet. We also have what's called button-up collar stays. Now, collar stays are around since the 1950s. I'm tired of talking about collar stays. Well, these collar stays are different. This is a gentleman out of Wichita, Kansas. His name is Mike Fisher, and he invented a collar stay, but it has an added function of a hook on the end. And that's to help you fasten buttons on your sleeve, as well as help you fasten maybe the top button of your shirt. And especially for older people that have dexterity issues, arthritis, carpal tunnel, this can be a real challenge, a real difficulty each and every day. And if your wife's not there to help you or your child's not there to help you, you want to be able to dress yourself each and every day. So this becomes a great tool. And then for younger guys out there, you just use it as a collar stay. If you're an older gentleman, use it to button your sleeve buttons and then use it as a collar stay. So this little pack here has stainless steel collar stays. You have 3 different sizes because obviously every collar is different lengths. And it's metal, so you don't have to worry about it causing your collars to curl. It's a great complement to the Perky collar because the Perky collar does not prevent collars from curling. You need to wear collar stays. So why not wear button-up collar stays that can also help you fasten your buttons at the same time? So that's the button-up collar stays. These are $20, also available on perkyllc.com. Next up is holeless belts. And I'm sure you're all thinking, oh, I've seen the Mission belt on Shark Tank. I've seen that. Well, this is different. This is 100% cowhide. That's one of the biggest differences. It's the same type of leather they use on the saddles of horses. So it's much thicker, stronger leather. There's no ratchet system here, unlike the Comfort Click belt that's all over TV right now. Instead, the technology is in the buckle. So all you're going to simply do is you're going to put the belt through and it locks in place. Now, it's holiday time. We're all gaining weight, let's be honest. Okay, so what we do, instead of having to go up an inch or down an entire inch based on our weight fluctuation, we just simply tilt the buckle a little bit, bring it in a little bit. If I lost a little weight, and it locks back in place. If I just had a big holiday meal, I loosen it a teensy bit, back in place. Again, I don't have to go up or down an entire inch. These are beautiful. They come in brown, which is what I have here. They come in cognac, which is what I have displayed here. And they also come in black. They are a limited supply. They are very hard to get a hold of for whatever reason. But I do have about a dozen left to service the community. And I can guarantee you, whoever you give this belt to will never wear a whole belt again because it's a frustration to have to poke your own holes, to stretch the holes out because you gain a little weight, lose a little weight. The belt never fits right. We don't gain weight by 1-inch increments. So why would we have a belt that only goes up or down by an inch? So those are all the innovative products that we have on the website. And in closing, we also have some fashion items on our website. because we realized that people that are buying innovative products also like to look good with different pocket squares, different pocket rounds. Well, my wife makes all of our pocket squares and pocket rounds. They're also all available on our website, perkyllc.com. And here's an example of one of her pocket rounds. Those of you who've never seen a pocket round before, it's the same as a pocket square, just circular. But you notice it's two-sided. No one else does that. You notice the stitch work is two different colors. We got light blue on one side and kind of a royal blue on the other. But again, when folded, it really becomes a work of art. So just to kind of give you a quick example of how beautiful a pocket round is, this is an example. And then when you use the pocket square holder, it prevents the pocket square from unfolding, or pocket round, again in this case, from unfolding. So when you put it in the pocket, it stays perfect all day long. So again, pocket squares, pocket rounds, all handmade, all limited edition on the website. We've also added some pre-tied and self-tied bow ties. They're all limited edition, all very unique. We also have some little bow tie lapel buttons. These actually are buttons that go in the lapel of a jacket to act as a color accent, to bring out a color maybe in the pinstripe, a color in your shirt, color in your pocket square, pocket round, just a great little accent. And again, it's not a pin, it's actually a button that goes in the buttonhole. And then finally we have some silk scarves that were designed by my 17-year-old daughter, who's an incredibly gifted artist. We took her canvas paintings and turned them into 60 by 20 and 50 by 50 scarves. And then for the men, we created some 16-inch by 16-inch pocket squares that are beautiful to put into your jacket pocket of your blazer. Again, you've been watching the Perky Collar radio and TV show here on the Wake Up Call Network. I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you tune in again next week. And until then, we'll see you next time.